Oops. Welcome to the Lift Heavy Run Long podcast. You can find us at www.liftheavyrunlong.com, on Twitter and Instagram at liftrunlong. Also, feel free to email me directly at the address wilson@liftheavyrunlong.com. Please subscribe to our YouTube channel and leave us a 5-star review on iTunes. If you're not a member of our private Facebook group, you should be, because we want you to be there. Search for Lift Heavy Run Long Community and request to join right now. We've started an LHRL premium area on our website for $3.99 a month, or $39.99 a year. You'll have access to all the content, a new LHR exclusive podcast with remote guests, free workouts on the LHRL app, and access to the ever-growing library of movement videos. And also for $9.99 a month, you can have access to every program that Lift Heavy Run Long has to offer, and the ability to program those, schedule them into your own calendar on the app.
And those are just growing and growing and growing.
Like crazy. Yeah. Unlimited. You can do as many programs as you want throughout the course of the month. You can only do one at a time. But say that you want to train for a 6-week Spartan race, and you program it, and you get a week into it, and you say, you know what, I don't want to train for a 6-week Spartan race anymore.
You're going to be a program hopper?
You can hop over and start training for a triathlon and say, man, I hate riding a bike. I want to run a 50K. You can jump over and do that.
All right.
So you could always tell people I'm training for like this big thing.
But don't do that.
But you can.
You can. Just because you can.
That's true. That's very. My mom used to tell me that all the time, still does. I also want to let you know that I do my best to censor the LHRL podcast that is available to the public, as I have children and I like to listen to podcasts with them in the car. So I want to respect you and your family as well. Some things do slip past me and the subjects might not all be kid-friendly, but I do my best to keep it within the lines of decency. I'm in a room full of decent people, so we don't have to worry about things getting too out of hand. Except for this hot and intelligent and sometimes potty-mouthed lovely lady sitting to my right. We have to keep her in check.
I thought you were going to say Paul or Laura Pinkley.
And that's my dynamo wife, Dr. Amanda Kimsey Horrell, also known as Jacked and Tan.
Hello.
How are you, Doc?
I'm doing pretty good. How are you?
I'm doing well. You're looking well.
Thank you.
You've been doing well. Nutrition, going to Cindy.
Yep.
Had some good scores this week.
I did.
Congratulations.
Thank you. Pretty excited about that.
I am too.
Yep.
I reap the benefits of that, because then when you're healthy, I'm healthier. At least when you're around, I'm healthy. And so you make all these great meals for me and take such good care of me, as well as the children.
Yep. I lost 11 pounds of fat and gained 5 pounds of muscle.
That's a pretty big swing.
4 weeks. So I'm getting there.
In 4 weeks?
Yeah.
Wow.
Proud of you.
Thank you.
And next to Amanda, we have our friend William Albritton. And you are in town from
Louisiana.
Louisiana.
Yeah, Alexandria, right in the center of the state.
I would have guessed that it was in the South.
Yeah.
Something tells me that you're from the South.
Well, I forget that I have an accent. I really do. Then as soon as I get anywhere out of Louisiana, or definitely like when I have to go to California, and then sometimes it's within like me saying 3 or 4 words, people pick up on it. So.
Isn't that a strange feeling when people tell me I have a country accent or a Southern accent, and you just don't hear it and don't even really believe it?
Yeah.
But I guess it depends on who
I
you're
did
around.
that the other day. I was in the gym, and Dustin pulled a like a 500-pound deadlift, and I was filming him, and I said, "Hell yeah!" And then when I went back and watched the video, I was like, "Oh my god!"
Hell yeah.
See, that sounds normal to me. When you gave that example, I was like, I don't get it. What are you talking about?
When I listened back to it, I was like, "Oh my god!" I hear it.
Well, and last week we had on Jeff Anglin, who's from, where was he from? He lived in Hernando. I think he's from Hernando.
Oxford, Mississippi.
But he's super country. Yeah. And then he was he's like, I'm going to turn on my country voice. And he was talking in the microphone. And it was like, your country voice is turned on, dude.
Yeah. It's been turned on for the last hour already.
Next to our friend William, we have the Reverend.
What's up?
Mr. Vaughn Rawls.
Hey.
Hey, Vaughn.
Always good to see you.
Thank you. It's always good to be here.
We're doing a podcast early today.
We are. We're doing 2 today.
2.
Yep.
It's 5 p.m. where we are.
It is.
How'd you get off work?
Oh man. Well, I have hours I can take. So.
Because you have a real job with real
man.
structured time off.
Yeah. So something that I thought of when I left was I usually get off work at 5:30, and today I left and it was daylight, and it's like 69 degrees outside.
Yeah.
Which is like an incredible mood enhancer. Like when you go to work and you get off and it's dark. When you go to work, it's like dark, and when you get off, it's dark, and you're like, this is kind of lame, you know. So when I get off of work and it's daylight outside and I can roll the windows down and it's sunshiny, it's like I'm a completely different person.
How long have you been at this job?
7 months.
So have you forgotten that pretty soon that'll be the case? You'll get to
Yes.
leave work downtown on pretty days.
Oh
and
yeah, I cannot
have
wait.
all kinds of daylight.
Yeah, I can't wait.
I have seasonal depression, or I've had seasonal depression in the past.
Yeah.
And so I just get that funk, you know, where you just feel like, ugh, everything's just kind of blah.
Yeah.
So then when the springtime comes, it's like, oh man, I forgot this
Yeah.
was even part of my life.
Well, I had that 100-mile slump.
Yeah.
And combine that with the whole winter and gloomy, rainy days all the time, and it kind of sends you into kind of a spiral. Like I just want to see the sunshine and have some happy things going on.
That's a dangerous deal. Getting down like that can be bad for a lot of people.
But today is a good day.
Today is a fantastic day. Next to the Reverend, we have our buddy Randy, who's in town. I think if you're truly professional, you don't acknowledge the gentleman working the camera, but we're not at that level. Not the way that William is.
Right.
William has a videographer,
brought
and
his own.
Randy is that guy. So he's on the other side of his own camera doing what he does professionally.
Nice.
Now, somehow I just con Randy into coming along with me. I just want to make it clear I'm not that big time where I have a videographer.
Right.
Well, I don't know what you do well, but selling is obviously a
Yeah,
strong
yeah.
point of yours. If you can get a guy to jump in a car and ride with you.
Yeah, like I said earlier, I keep promising Randy, man, we're gonna be big time if you keep coming along with me.
Just keep coming along
Yeah,
long
yeah.
enough.
That's how it works, man.
Yeah.
I believe that you will. You got a good guy following you who seems to know his stuff a lot more than I do. So tell us a little bit about what it is that you do. I mean, you're in the marketing business, aren't you?
Yeah. I mean, I really have. I guess everything I do is in the fitness business. So I have a gym, and and then I'll also just have a small marketing agency that works with CrossFit gyms. And actually, we work with a lot of several different clients in the fitness industry, even a few clients outside of the fitness industry. But we really focus on CrossFit.
Now, are you a CrossFit gym? Your gym?
Yeah. My gym's a CrossFit gym, CrossFit Alexandria.
So you were a CrossFitter before you were a marketing connoisseur?
Yeah. I got into it.
Is that the right word? Entrepreneur?
Entrepreneur. That's what William is. Yeah.
What would be the difference in an entrepreneur and connoisseur?
I think a connoisseur is somebody that's good at something, right? Like a wine connoisseur.
Yeah.
Is that it?
I know all about wines if I'm a wine connoisseur.
Well, entrepreneur sounds
But
pretty
if I'm
good
a
too.
wine entrepreneur, that means that I sell wine.
Yeah.
You're an
yeah.
entrepreneuring
Or have a-
connoisseur of CrossFit gyms.
So what was the question?
I don't think I had one. I just got off track with that. So I think I asked you what came first, the CrossFit or the
how do we
market?
get into this? Oh, let's see where to start. I went to school for engineering, so my degree is a mechanical engineer. So I was an engineer for 10 years. Then I started a CrossFit gym just as a hobby while I was still an engineer, and then I guess really realized that I feel like I could grow this fitness thing and make it full time. So I got into that. Opened a second CrossFit gym, and then I opened a third gym that was it was similar to CrossFit, but we wanted to distance ourselves from CrossFit just because it's so intimidating, or it can be intimidating, just the sound of it. So we made this gym really geared towards beginners. And so when we opened that gym, like we went all in. I partnered with a couple of doctors. So, we had the finances just to go all in, hired a full-time staff from the beginning. I mean, decked it out. So we had a marketing company come in, and the marketing company, when I started seeing what they were doing, it was, it just like wasn't our brand. It was just that like cheesy, manipulative, like fitness marketing that like we see everywhere. I mean, like you stand in line at the grocery store and you like can see on the magazine covers, like like whittle down your middle. I mean, like, stuff like that. And it's like, and like the ads they were running, and so they were doing it all online, like through Facebook, and the ads are people deadlifting, and everybody's in the exact same position in the gym, smiling. Just. It just wasn't real. And I mean, I was so embarrassed because I was like, man, I hope nobody knows these ads are coming from my gym. And so I was like, all right, I got to figure out how to do this. So I just dove in, and I guess when I do something, I just go all in as far as the learning aspect of it. So, I just devour marketing books. So anything from like the 50s and 60s that worked well with advertising, all the way up to like the new age stuff like Facebook and social media and YouTube. Just really, and I guess my ultimate goal was like, how do we grow our business and still be authentic to who we are? Like without this like cheesy, manipulative stuff.
Well, but that's a sweet spot that everybody wants to hit. I mean, nobody wants to be cheesy. Nobody wants to sound manipulative. And everybody wants to be different in their marketing approach, but that's, I tend to lean more to the cheesy side, and Vaughn is more like let's be cool. And so there's two polar opposites, because you can't do nothing, you got to attempt to put out something, but then what do you put out that's cool or different? How do you come up with these kind of ideas?
Yes, I mean, I think. I think that they're okay. Let's see. Sorry, I'm like all these thoughts are coming in on where to start, but it's all about building an audience. Like your podcast is marketing, and so like you're building up an audience and you're giving people value through it, and through this podcast they're seeing that hey, these guys know what they're talking about. Like they see you as authorities, and they can listen to this podcast and like get something out of it, like tangible. Like, you listen to this podcast and you can at least get one tip you can do in your life or your business or with your runs. And then like at the beginning, you talked about your programs that you have for sale. And so like the marketing is, man, let's invest in these people and give them something. And when they trust us, and when they think like, man, I got all this stuff for free from them. Imagine if I spend $9.99 a month, what I could do.
That's a good point. I guess probably the key to that is have something worth marketing from the get-go instead of relying on somebody to cheese you through it.
Yeah, and that's a big thing too, is like I've really gotten to the point where we understand the clients that fit our business, and so we pick people and we pick businesses that fit what we do. And so I guess my point is sometimes people will come with us, and I'm thinking in my head like, man, that the reason why you can't get this to work is because nobody wants it. It's not your marketing approach, or I mean, you're a great person, but like nobody wants that. And I don't want to tell them that, so I just say we're too busy to work with them. But But yeah, I mean,
you
definitely.
just can't market a clean smelling turd. If that's
Yeah,
all you
yeah,
got.
and so yeah, I mean, you definitely got to invest. And I was talking with somebody today. I'm just so tired of these, whether it's business growth coaches or programs or gym business coaches. I mean, these people selling things that just are a bunch of theory and doesn't work. Yeah, and it's just, and to do that, it's like that's when you got to up your manipulative marketing. And because, man, I'm telling you, when you dive into marketing, there's some manipulative stuff you can. I mean, there's some powerful stuff you can do, but you just got to use it in the right way. I mean, you have this great power once you learn how to do this, and you got to kind of be careful with it and not overpromise and not oversell.
Yeah, I hear you. So you had 2 gyms that were already functioning and already doing well, and then you brought in the corporate people. Was that intimidating? Did they have expectations of you?
No, I guess I wasn't intimidating because I didn't know enough. I mean, you know what I'm saying? It's like sometimes you like dive into a business or you dive into your first 100-mile race and you've never done more than 30. It's like you don't know what you're getting into, so it's not really that intimidating. So, no, I mean, I think they were the ones that were a little more nervous about things, but I was like, man, let's pump the money in. I made a lot of mistakes.
Let's pump y'all's money in.
Yeah.
There's a huge difference between like opening a CrossFit gym on a budget where you got like 20 grand, you know, and then somebody comes and you already did that twice, right? Like
yeah, I mean,
and then when somebody comes along and goes, "Hey, man, I'll give you all the money that you need to do this," you're like, "Oh yeah,
I mean,
let's go. That's awesome."
Yeah, the first gym we opened, which is the most successful now, it was 3 of us, and I think it was like a total of $7,000 we opened it up with. So that's like $2,500 a piece.
Oh,
but
man.
The one that I'm talking, the last one I opened was like $200,000. And it's not open anymore.
Really, it's shut down.
Well, we ended up taking
it
one
was
of my
cheesy marketing.
There's all those people deadlifting at the same time.
I know. If I didn't know what I know now, man, I'd be big time.
If you had showed some butt cracks and bad hair and people really struggling, maybe they would have
man,
jumped
if
on
I'd have
board.
whittled down their middle, we'd be going now. But one of my other gyms ended up buying that gym because we did end up realizing, like, man, we're doing the same service at 2 locations. So we ended up, I guess you say, merging the gyms.
How long ago was it that you started your first gym?
Almost 8 years ago.
And then you started your second one. How long after that?
Probably about 2 or 3 years later, and then another one like about a year later.
Did you ever have a period in your first gym where you thought this might not make it? Were you ever staring at the ceiling and worried about where the next customer was going to come from?
No, because my other business partner dealt with all the finances, so he had to worry about that. He just kept telling me, stop spending
You are
so
a smart joker. You have really got
He said,
figured
stop
out.
spending the money, and I was like, man, what's another $200 going to hurt? Surely we can do that, so I just do it. And but I ended up buying out my partner, so now I do see all that. I'm like, man, I put some headache on. His name is Lance. I was like, man, I caused him some headache. I can see now.
Man, stuff costs money. I hear people all the time when they're talking about the price of CrossFit memberships, and they always want to go with, oh, they must be making a killing. Like they're just, like we're just being drugged through the coals. Like, man, that stuff's expensive. And they always start with like, I mean, how much can it really cost? There's like a shop, a garage, and then some weights. And like, each one of those weights costs money. Each one of those barbells costs money. Each one of those rigs costs money. Each one of those bikes, each one of the, you're never really getting to a point where you can throw your hands up and say, whew, now I'm just cashing checks and sleeping on money. Every time that you get somewhere, it seems as if it would just be time to buy something more expensive.
Yeah,
I don't know. I've never owned one. I'm just going by what I think the books would look like.
Yeah, exactly. Then, I mean, if you really invest into your team and your coaches, I mean, that's where, it's a service industry, it's a service business. So that's where the majority of your expenses come from. Then, so if you're going to have good people, I mean, it costs money to bring Randy around.
Sure. Yeah, Randy's don't come cheap.
Yeah, yeah.
I can't afford a Randy.
Do you want me to be your Randy?
I'll be your Randy.
So since y'all merged your two gyms, do you cater to the more beginner type people at your as both gyms a CrossFit gym?
Yeah. No, I think we always had done a good job at catering toward beginner people, but like there's that perception that it's rope climbs and
Tire flipping and
300-pound cleans every day.
Yeah.
So when those people came in, it did increase our class size some. So we started running 2 coaches at each class. We just called them a micro coach and a macro coach. So like that macro coach was in charge of really running the whole class, as far as time that we're going to move here now and the energy. Then the micro coach, they didn't have to worry about any of that. They just individually helped people. So like that was one way that we helped cater to, the beginners more. And we did a good job at that anyway. It's just the perception was there that we didn't.
Gotcha.
What were the numbers of people in class where you made that decision? Like 10 people, I need 2 coaches, or 20 people, I need to add a coach?
We have just a number 12. So if we have like 12 people, we want to have 2 coaches.
Okay.
I don't know how we came up with that. It just seems right.
Right.
So as a mechanical engineer, I don't know many sloppy mechanical engineers. I'd imagine you're probably not a slob.
You just met one.
Are you pretty process
Ask my wife. I would say yes and no, because I was trained as a mechanical engineer. I'm not, and the way I became a mechanical engineer, because I was too lazy to go to the guidance office or whatever they call it in college and change my major. And so I just graduated in that. I mean, I'm glad I did. I'm glad I did that so I would say naturally I'm not real process, but I've been.
Is mechanical engineering a degree that people typically are too lazy to change out of? It's not like you
No, somebody
graduated.
was like, William, this is like the 3rd hardest degree in college. And I was like, I didn't think I was very smart. I still don't. And then I was thinking, well, man, I just thought all classes, I didn't know it was any harder.
Every class I've ever took has been hard. Went over my head.
Yeah, so
College is hard.
so yeah, I'm like in this constant state of struggle. I'm like trained in these processes, but I'm somewhat creative, and but I don't know. I think I'm working it out now in my life. It just took a long time to figure all that out.
So have you always had people helping you with these businesses, or have you started them yourself? And you said at one time you had a partner. When you started your first one, was it with a partner?
Yeah, I had 2 partners, and then ended up buying them out. And I'm trying to get better at my businesses in bringing in more people, because it's like John and I were talking the other day. Like when you go through a curriculum like mechanical engineering, it teaches you how to problem solve, and not to be. And I'm really not any smarter than the average person, but I do believe I can figure anything out. I mean, I could, and it may take me forever, but I believe I could do it. I've never built anything, but I believe I could build this room here. I mean, I may be here 2 years from now doing it, but so that's a problem when it comes to business, when you think you can do everything, because you can, but it's not the most efficient. So I've learned a lot more how to delegate and not try to learn everything, not try to learn something. It's okay for me to bring in an expert.
Kimmons Wilson, the founder of Holiday Inn, he's got his 12 rules or 15 rules for success, or whatever it is, and he was a pretty witty guy. And one of his rules is no job is too difficult as long as you're smart enough to hire someone to do it for you. And I think that there comes a time when you have to recognize what is above your head or what is worth your time. It's one thing to not be able to do something because you just are too stupid to do it. It's just too far out of your field. And it's another thing to do it because it is so far out of your field that you feel like you have to do it. And then it's another thing to say, you know what, it's outside of my field, and that's why I'm going to pay somebody else to do it for me. And I think that as an entrepreneur, knowing when that is and when to pull that switch to let somebody else do it for you is something that business savvy people have that I don't. I'll get wrapped up in something that's going to save me $7 and wind up spending $1,000 learning how to save that.
Yeah, that's a good point. I get in trouble at home for that because my wife wants me to do stuff around the house. I'm like, oh, well, look, we just need to hire somebody to do that because I could go make some more money instead of, spending 3 hours out there in the yard. But then I just sit, watch Netflix or play with my daughter. It's okay. But
My time is valuable.
yeah. Watch 6 episodes of The Office.
Oh, yeah.
I've had the philosophy of I'll fix everything. Now, I've tried to fix everything. And then, I've done everything enough to do it poorly. Like jack of all trades, I never made it to the jack part. Like I've done all trades and I've done all of them. A lot of them I've done on my own home, or my own stuff, which then you're just left with crappy stuff. You lay tile for the first time and you're going to have a crappy tile job. So it's better to do that at your buddy's house for a 12-pack of beer than it is to do it at your own house. But now when stuff like that comes up, I'm calling the tile guy.
Yeah. Do you need some tile laid at your house?
Don't call this guy because he's watching Netflix.
Well, there's this story too about Henry Ford, and I wish I remembered all the details exactly. It's just a good story, but there was some guy that went in the newspaper or was a newspaper writer, and they called him an idiot, and he didn't know what he was doing, and he was, the new way he was manufacturing was just ruining everything, and he ended up suing the guy for slander. They went to court, and so they had Henry Ford up on the stand, and the attorney went to prove that he wasn't that smart. So he started asking him some like current event questions that he should obviously know. In his response, and he, man, I wish I could remember what he said wrong because it was like really obvious that he should have known it or that anybody would have known. And his response was like, why would I know all this when I can hit a button and have 12 of the smartest men in front of me that I could ask that question to?
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Well, that's a good example of letting people do the work for you. I was watching the documentary on Legos, and it was talking about how you stay in business for the amount of time they've stayed in business when all they are is a company that snaps plastic bricks together. And one of the examples that they used was them getting into the robotics industry, and people were hacking into their robotics and manipulating the way that the computer systems work. And some of the people at Legos were having a fit, these people were doing this, while the other brass was saying, well, let's see what comes out of it. Let them play with it and let it run its own course. And one of the engineers on the documentary said, we have to remember that 99.9% of the world's most intelligent people aren't employed by Lego. And I think that there's a lot to be said for, open source and opening your information and, opening your business to other people who know better than you do.
Oh yeah, man, I completely agree. And that's really, like this podcast is an example of, you're just giving away your information and people like, well, man, why would I pay $9.99 or $3.99 for that when I'm giving it all away? But you're just opening it up, and I mean, it builds goodwill. It helps people more, and in turn, like you get helped more.
I appreciate you seeing it like that. I think it's great that you see that for what it is, because I feel the same way. I think that we don't have any competitors. We're not up against anybody. We're not trying to claim that, our program will run your program into the ground. We're selling programs for $4 a month. For $9.99 a month, you can have all of them. And if you don't like them, then, don't use them. And I think that just making them available for their proven programs, but we want as many people as possible to have access to fitness. We're not carrying people randomly to the games. You just want as many people that would like some help and would like to get going in a good direction, to have access to that. And it's one thing to go butting heads with people and holding on to information and needing strategy. And it's another thing just to try to exist with everybody and knowing that, we can get anybody on our podcast and not have to worry about, well, they're selling programs for $8.99.
Yeah. Yeah. It's like man, I like what you said about, you're just trying to help people. You didn't say exactly like this, but you're just trying to help people get better. I mean, if that's your real mission, if your real mission is, say, to get people to run long, then you're not, if that's your true mission, like, you're not going to gate all of this stuff and not have other competitors on your podcast. You're going to give that all away. It's just like CrossFit. When CrossFit got big, they just started putting their workouts up on a website. They didn't try to be like, man, we got this great thing. We can't we can't give our workouts away. We had trainers from other gyms locally that would come up to us and be like, man, you know that people are doing y'all's workouts like at the gym, man, y'all ought to put a password on that. And it's but I think that's hopefully the world is getting away from that mindset, but I guess that's probably the mindset that I grew up in, is that it's yours, and that's not somebody else's. You can't let them take that from you. Like, that's what the world says. But that's just our, we all have, to some level, we all have ego and pride, and that's just our ego and pride.
That's a real hard thing to get people to separate themselves from, that attitude. I guess you probably see that when you take on clients.
Yeah.
Where they're like, what? Like, I'm in this to just crush everybody else. And they can, whatever.
Yeah. One thing, the type of marketing that we do is, and I don't always say this to every client because I don't want them to be like, whoa, man, that guy's like too like woo-woo. But the type of marketing we do really makes the world a better place, whether they buy from you or not. So example, like if I'm working with a gym, we get them to do content videos. So that's like, what I call a content video is putting out a video with some kind of health and fitness tips that they can watch the video, and at the end of it, like, they know how to do something better. So like, one video we get some of our clients to do is they get one of their coaches to go to the grocery store, and y'all know that saying, stay on the outside aisle of the grocery store. So you get one of your coaches to go there and you're on video and you're like, look, you need to stay on the outside aisle of the grocery store. You probably heard that is absolutely true. Let me show you why. And like, they walk to the fruit and vegetables and they say, you need fruit and vegetables in your life because, it's full of minerals and nutrients and vitamins. And then they go to the potatoes and they say, look, you need potatoes because it's full of energy and good carbs. And they go to the meat section and talk about meats. And by the end of it, they've created this really good, engaging video that if somebody watches it, like, they really know how to eat right. And so you've really helped them. But you put it on Facebook and you have 5,000 people watch it. Like, 5,000 people aren't going to join your gym. And it's for many reasons. Some of those people can't afford your gym, but you've still given, like, value to them. So if they can't afford it, you still, like, help them out. And then, but the good news is a lot of people that do watch it will start getting interested in your gym and come in and become members. So that's just a way of, giving out information and not worrying about if, like, oh, well, they watched all my videos, so they know how to eat, so they don't need to hire me as a nutrition coach.
Yeah, right. Yes.
Well, you're also putting yourself out there, right? And you're just putting yourself in front of people. And the more you can do that, I think is great. And I do that all the time, with pictures and put my face in the camera. But do you find that people don't want to do that? Like, when you say, okay, well, I guess it's different when someone comes to hire you for help. They probably are willing to do a little bit more. But I wonder, is there a barrier with most people where I want you to go to the grocery store and make a video, or I want you to just start making a video every week, and people are like, well, I don't want to do that.
That's a good question.
Yeah. So again, they don't want to do it for two reasons. Well, one is, like I just said, they feel like they're giving away too much. Like, if I give all this away, why would they hire me? And I always tell people, give enough away till you feel uncomfortable. Like, when you feel uncomfortable, like, you're going to build goodwill with people. Like giving away too much, meaning like, why would they come to me? And then the other one is like, yeah, they've never been in front of a camera, or they think it's a not good of enough job because, there's only one Randy in the world, so not everybody can have a Randy videographer.
Right.
That's right.
So they're just worried about filming themselves and. But I always just, one, if they're our clients, we help coach them through it. Or even, that's another thing, even if they're not, we have tons of content out there telling people how to film and how to do it on their own. But we just tell people to get started. Yeah, just
That's
get started.
not an easy thing
better.
to do. Getting in front of a camera for the first time is not an easy thing to do.
Yeah. Oh, no, it's
From the ego side of things.
Yeah.
And I think that what you said earlier about not being too woo-woo, I don't think you can be too woo-woo. I'm a spiritual guy. I think that like things take care of things, and you hear I'm also a cat poster guy. So I like the
like cats,
like the saying the.
Did you say cat poster?
Like the motivational side of things. Like I don't think there's never
like
a wrong
meow,
time.
like
motivational.
Okay, all right.
Quotes and things like that.
Well, you hear like people like, oh, it's just another cat video on YouTube everybody's watching. That's what I thought you were saying. You really enjoyed that.
We have cat wallpaper with kittens.
Yeah, what are you doing, Wilson? I was just watching another cat video.
I think that you can. I think that you can give almost all of it away. I don't think that you can give too much to the point to where your competition gets a leg up because of your generosity.
Yeah, and you know what? And what people do pay for is they. All right. Well, let me jump back. Pretty much anything now. There's something called Google.com. You can find anything you need.
Yeah.
So you already it's already all out there, but people pay for it to be packaged together. And they pay for the other things. So, like a CrossFit gym. All those workouts are out there. All the how-to videos are out there. But they pay for the accountability. Mm-hmm. They pay for the energy. They pay for the community. And so I think I got really off track from what you were saying. Sorry, I tried to tie
that cat
in.
poster threw you
I know. I think I'm still thinking about that. But so I think I kind of started rambling there, but that's what they pay for is a neat package, having that all together.
I think that you see that's interesting. I feel like I knew that, like I know that intellectually, but I don't think I've ever really seen it, that clearly put. That there is no information out there that I don't have any information that Google doesn't have. You'd be hard pressed to find anybody walking this planet that doesn't have. That Google doesn't have the information they have somewhere. It's just how to get it and how to get it where it's lumped together in a trustworthy package.
But also, if I can give somebody $127 a month to motivate me to go there, do it correctly, and then have this group of friends around me, that's completely different. That's a big deal.
You could give me $30,000 worth of gym equipment in the shop right there,
right,
and it would go untouched. If I was to come home and my job was to write my own programs and do my own workout, my programs would be the programs I watch on Netflix. I would do nothing. But I don't know what I wouldn't pay to go to our gym and see the people that I get to see and do those workouts with them, because working out has very little to do with the knowledge of the coaches to me, and it has very little to do with the actual working out as much as it is the community and having a way to vent my energy in a positive direction.
I think your coach is pretty knowledgeable.
I'm not saying I don't have knowledgeable coaches.
I'm just kidding.
Which the other day we had a coach that was wearing tights and high heels.
I was getting ready for work. I had to change.
Whatever. It was awesome. It was pretty incredible. You had some people on the assault bike that were pedaling awfully fast that would not have normally pedaled quite as fast as they were.
Hey, that could be a business idea.
You should have seen it.
Heels.
Speaking of manipulative marketing.
That's right. Yeah.
We'll whittle your middle. Whole different kind of way.
No whittling. Stop that whittling. Get off that bike. You know what? Just go on home. Right, go home. So what kind of clients are you looking for?
So there's, so I'll say what we do and what we don't do. There's one type of client, and this is in the fitness world. This is in insurance. This is in dental. I mean, this is in every type of industry. That there's a business model to where you just get tons of leads in, and you know that, man, if I get 200 leads in this month, I'm going to convert 10% of them. And so if I can get 300 leads, even better. Just give me the leads, and basically those businesses are like a call center. I mean, really, if you go into an insurance agency and it's like a call center in there, if that's what it is, you're just getting leads. Or even a dental office. I mean, it doesn't sound like it, but it's, they'll have somebody just on the phone all day calling those leads. And most of them don't sign up. Most of them don't even want to hear from you. Most of them don't even realize what they opted in for. Mm-hmm. But the bottom line is, if you spend 8 hours a day and can call all the leads, you're going to convert 5% or whatever the number is. And then there's the other type of business where it's higher quality leads, but it's a lot less leads. So maybe it's 20 leads a month, and you don't have a call center. And so if you look at and so we're that other business. We're the ones that get you 20 leads, but they're high quality, and we're the ones that project your real authentic voice. Like, we project who you are and the culture that you are, because every business and gym is different, and that makes it more fun when you can market in a way that's true to you. If somebody came in and it's like, man, look guys, we can we'll get an astronomical number of people to buy your $9.99 program, but look, man, you got to get rid of this cabin we're in and this couch. We want y'all to come to an office, and I don't know, we can get you at least, like, y'all would think, like, man, that's not very much fun.
No, we'd kill them.
Yeah, we need y'all, Oh, we also need you to follow a structured process. And look, that stuff
right.
Y'all do the first 10 minutes, man, cut that out. Just get straight to the point.
You
Like, that's not any fun, but it's going to get you a ton of leads. Oh yeah, and you need to have 2 people that you hire full time to call all these leads. So, like, man, that's not fun. But I'm not saying that's wrong. It's just a different type of business model. And so, like, there's companies out there that work with gyms, and their owners. Like they'll run an offer for the people to come in, and their owners for 2 weeks will be on calls. They'll be in consults with half the people not showing up to the consultation, and that's, like, I'm telling you, that's fine. I'm not knocking that, but, like, that's not the kind of life I want to live, or the people we work with want to live. They want to create these fun content videos. They want to be perceived as, like, really helping people in their community, and that's how they want to build up their brand. And so basically it is more brand building. But I suppose the other way is, like, man, if you want to say whittle down your middle and that gets people in, like, say it all you want. I don't care what people think about me. I want 200 leads a month. Mm-hmm. Yeah. So we work with the people that really want to add value. And the thing is, it is longer term. It takes longer term to build up that branding, but at the same time, it's a good steady progress. And so you're not having these big ups and downs. And when you're getting those high quantity of leads, I mean, there's ups and downs, and it works short term. But not only is it low quality leads, a lot of times when the people sign up, they're low quality, so they're quitting 2 months later. Then you're right back to where you started. Let's get on that phone and start hitting these leads again.
Well, and you're also getting distracted from what it is that you're trying to produce.
Exactly. Yeah.
When you have all that kind of volume coming in, we're fortunate because we have jobs outside of this. Like, if this never goes anywhere, if this never generates any sort of revenue at all, that's okay. I like this because there's people who are inspired by it. There's people who get up and move that otherwise wouldn't get up and move. I can't tell you if anybody out there called and said, man, I'm struggling. I can't get off the couch. I don't have any money. But I need some programs. It's not even a question. Like, you don't have to prove what hardships you have, we'll give you the damn programs. This isn't about anything like that. And, it's nice to not have that. I think that the second that I tried to funnel this, to force this in a certain direction because I was in dire straits financially, it would show and it would reek of it and it would go straight down the tubes because you start doing things that are outside of your passion, outside of what you naturally want to be doing. And this is something that I want to be doing.
That is very true. And this is a great example of it is when I first started Lift Heavy Run Long, the blog posts and stuff were not frequent ever, like once a month. I didn't think I could write about anything except for running or lifting weights, so I was like, I called it Lift Heavy Run Long. So I gotta talk about that all the time, and if I don't have that to talk about, then I'm not going to talk about anything. And so when Wilson came along, it's like he wanted to do all this other stuff, and I'm like, man, well, that doesn't have anything to do with anything. But okay, let's see what happens, and then that's when the thing just explodes because now we're actually inspiring people. Like we're not. It's not like this exclusive group. It's just a group that's open to anybody that wants to get better. And so that's a very good example of that.
And every week is a new, a new direction. And
Right.
You're like, hey, let's do this or let's try this. And it hasn't had anything to do with, if you were to say, Wilson, we need a plan. Like we would like you to fill this void and we want you to do it methodically and we need you to do it this way. Man, there's nobody that would wreck that like I could. But, you get into doing something that you want to do and there really is no wrong direction as long as the direction is if your intentions are in the right place, then I don't really think you can fail.
Yeah. There's a guy, Brian Franklin, that he wrote a book, The Last Safe Investment. But I've been with him at probably like 3 or 4 different times, like seeing him speak or in small group stuff. And he said, I hope I can say it right. He said, like you and your business should be going in the path of least resistance. And at first that seems like, no, man, we're supposed to be grinding and working hard and it should feel painful. But he said if it's not in the path of least resistance, that it's not going to take off and grow. And this guy's helped build, I think, $7 billion companies. And so, yes, it's like what you're saying. Well, it's like, you had trouble writing before, and then Wilson comes in, you start doing this that feels more natural. Like, man, yeah, that's easy. I could do that. And it just starts growing. And I mean, I say that, and I don't like to say things that I don't practice, so I will put it out there. Like, I'm getting a lot better at it, but I really, really struggle with that. But yeah, I mean, if we can all just find the path of our least resistance that seems natural, I think we do begin to blossom.
And I'm certainly not saying that's the way to do anything. I'm not saying that I know how to do anything that, this is what it is. But I think that there's something to be said for being around people who encourage creativity and encourage you to do what you want to do. Amanda wants me to be doing this. She never says you need to be heading this direction. You need to head this direction. She wants me to do what makes me happy. And she knows that this makes me happy. Vaughn could have said, we're not your blog doesn't have anything to do with lifting heavy and running long. And I started this thing and it's going to be lifting heavy and running long. And he would have had every right and reason in the world to say that. But he's like, yeah, man, let's put it out there. Let's just put stuff out there and see what people enjoy. And without that kind of, artistic freedom, there's no telling what would have come from it. But it wouldn't be good. I wouldn't be doing it now because I don't enjoy being told what to do. I don't like being confined or constricted. And I'm not saying that that's the right way to be, but it is a way to be. And it's a hell of a lot more fun than doing it under people that are telling you how you need to do things.
Yeah.
Did you find that through your education that your business runs more in line with your education, or are you much further outside the box in the way you do things?
So I was a mechanical engineer. We don't learn anything about running a business there. So I was thinking, all these people with MBAs knew all this stuff that I didn't. And I was like, man, so I got to go get my MBA. So I went and got an MBA. And all that made me do was realize that they didn't know any more than I did. But it was a $50,000 lesson. That my parents didn't pay for that one. But yeah, so I don't know. I mean, there's these people that dog education and all that, but so I don't really know how my business would be if I wouldn't have had that. I can't point to it like, oh man, in this class I learned this, so this is how I do that. But like it did teach me a lot of problem solving skills, and so I think my education did really help me. I just can't like pinpoint how.
Would you say that you're self-taught?
Yeah, like with marketing.
Or would you just say that you're experience-driven?
Yeah, I would say I'm self-taught, but like mechanical engineering taught me how to teach myself.
Mm-hmm.
So like marketing, I mean, I'm completely self-taught there. Yeah, I've gone to I've done a lot of courses and all that, but I mean, I consider that teaching yourself. I've gotten books and all that, and so.
Do you obsess on tangents? Like, do you get on something and that's all you can get on?
Yeah, I realized I didn't know that I did that until like a little bit after. My wife, before we got married, we were just dating. She got this dog, and I like started really liking dogs, and so I ended up, studying dogs and about how the wolves were their ancestors. I'm really getting off on a tangent now, but like how wolves were their ancestors. So I got this textbook on wolves. And was reading. I mean, I would like spend Saturday reading this textbook on wolves, and that's what my wife was like. And it didn't even cross my mind this is a textbook on wolves.
Yeah.
Until my wife came in. I mean, we were just dating at the time, but it was like, do you realize you're reading a textbook on wolves? And that's when it hit me. I was like, man, maybe I get a little too deep into stuff.
Do you do that with a lot of things?
So now I do it less because I realized it. But, that's what I did with marketing, and I'm glad I didn't realize it. Now I stopped myself because, like, there was I wasted a lot of time learning about wolves. It's not like I went and trained dogs or anything like that. But so now I can stop myself before. But like marketing, I still hadn't really realized that I do that. So I dove into marketing and like did the same thing.
I can't stop myself. I know I'm doing those things, and I have to keep going. I get something in my head, and I decide that I want to know more about that, or I want to, perfect that, or whatever it is that I want to do. And then I'll tell myself, don't do this. Stop, man. Like you really need to be paying your AT&T bill and your electric bill. Like, don't do that right now. And I'm just talking to myself like, nope, I gotta keep going. I gotta do it. And next thing you know, 3 days later, and then I'll get tired of it and go work on something else.
I need more of that in my life. Like I just do everything just to where I just get dangerous at it. Like not really good at it, not real bad at it. Like I can play guitar, I can ride a skateboard, I can run marathons, do all that stuff, make websites and stuff. But I'm not like there's nothing. I never like go all in on one thing like that. I'm kind of doing it now with development where I'm learning and getting a lot better at that. But,
do you ever think that you underestimate how good you are at certain things?
Yeah, I do that too.
I mean, you talk about like your web development, and I think you really like underestimate your knowledge and how beneficial it is to have an IT guy around. I mean, you got a Randy. What do you do when you don't have a Randy that knows how to work a camera? They're not easy to operate. I mean, turning one on and off is, but what happens with it after that is not an easy thing. I mean, it's not all just plug and play. And you're talking about a website. If you're trying to do something like Lift Heavy, Run Long and be on social media and, have a community, you can't do, if I had to call somebody every time I had a website problem, oh my God. It'd be outrageous. And you're talented at it. You're really very, very good at it. But you're always real like flip with it. Like, okay, I'll do this. It's like, oh my God, you just did that. Like that's the coolest thing in the world. You can make that move. Like really? Then you can press it and it takes you somewhere else. That's awesome. And I think that you probably should be aware of that because you you're talented at something. You want to appreciate it and hopefully drive you to do more of it.
Yeah, what I found is that people that are really good at things don't realize.
Yeah.
I mean, it comes so easy to them. And it kind of gets back to that the path of least resistance. We think to be good at something is supposed to be painful and grinding. So when we are good at something, like all the stuff you named, you're probably really good at, but you don't necessarily grind. It's not painful. It just kind of comes natural.
That is a really good point. I've never heard that before.
Yeah, like there's this lady that manages our gym, and she's just amazing at connecting with people and just investing with people and building people up. And people are just so drawn to her. And she always just writes it off. She's like, yeah, I think I'm just getting all these personal training clients. Like, I mean, she has a waiting list of personal training clients. She's like, I think they're just coming because I'm 55 and they see this old lady. And she doesn't look old by any means. But she's like, and just because I'm older and like that's why they come. And I'm like, no, it's just like so natural to you. You don't realize how well like you encourage and motivate people.
Well, you think that if you know something, then it's common knowledge. You know, you just kind of assume that if I know how to do it, then certainly everybody
really
else
bad
knows how to
about
do
that,
it.
yeah.
And you also, people also have a tendency to think that if they know something and somebody else doesn't, then that person's stupid. It's like, why would somebody know how to post a picture on Facebook if they've never posted a picture on Facebook? I get it. It's elementary because we do it all the time. But you're not born like inherently with the knowledge of how to post a picture on Facebook or how to get to your email or whatever
not
it
yet,
is.
anyway.
Not yet. It's coming. You'll be able to take that in pill form before too long.
No, man, that's so true. I mean, I see in my marketing working with clients is, you know, I'll say, look, you know, post this type of picture on Mondays, and it's this blurry photo, and at first I was like, man, how could anybody think this is a good photo to post? But it's just different. You know, some people don't see that. I mean, there's things like that I do that somebody's saying the same thing about me. Man, well, how does William not think this is? Like, how does he think this is okay?
Yeah. Blurry photo. You should go back on some of my when I first came into LHRL and some of the stuff that I would post and try to put together and take a look at some of that. It's pretty comical. You know, when you said that you were coming in town and that you were going to be talking with us, I told Amanda, I said, I've got to find time for this. Like, I've got to make this happen because I don't know anybody that knows marketing. I don't know anything about marketing. I don't know. I mean, you know, the fact that I spent 12 years of college and marketing management, that is completely irrelevant to what I actually know about how somebody would go about marketing a business. Because to me, it's just, let's just throw a bunch of darts at a board. Maybe we'll get likes. Maybe people will say that's cool. Maybe people will type rad in the comment box. But, you know, I don't know anything about formulating a direction and coming up with, you know, quantifiable results. And I guess that's what you're in the business of doing.
Yeah, I mean, and the thing is, you can still have fun with it. You can still do your Facebook Lives and make your funny post and all that. It's like I said, you still want to be completely authentic to who you are. But it's like John and Shireen were talking about on one of your other episodes about that sandbox. It's like creating a sandbox, and not necessarily guidelines you can't get out of, but all right, we're doing all this stuff in this sandbox for, like, how are we going to use this? You know, so yeah, do your thing, man. Like, post whatever you want, but how are we going to use it, like in a strategy to make it better? So you want to get more likes. I mean, you hear some marketers. This is another thing I can't stand is when people talk in absolutes, and it's usually to sell something when they're talking absolutes. It's like, likes don't matter. That's a vanity metric, and I mean, that's true. I mean, that could be true, or it doesn't have to be true. It's like, I mean, yeah, it could be true if you're just getting up likes just so you can feel better and show people how many people follow you. But it can also, you know, on Facebook, you can target all your likes. So if you have 5,000 people that like your page, you can start sending ads to all those 5,000 people to sign up for your $9.99 product. So it's like, man, yeah, do your thing, do those podcasts, and we get these likes, and here's how we're going to use the likes. Or like videos, you know, Facebook, you can create audiences of everybody that's watched your videos, and you can start sending them ads to sign up for your $9.99 product or $3.99 product. So it's just taking that, doing what you do, speaking authentically, then having a strategy of how you're going to use that.
But it's nice to have a strategist, somebody that actually that Facebook ads, it'll drive you completely insane. That's that's a rabbit hole I don't even want to go down, because you can't be too good at it. I mean, you can't learn too much, but you can certainly be too ignorant to use it.
Well, we have a girl at work. I work for an agency as well, but we have a girl that's what she does, is Facebook ads, social media ads, Google ads. That's all. That's her job. Like, so it's not just a small thing. It's a huge deal.
Absolutely, it's a huge thing. You can spend a ton of money on nothing. I've spent a lot of money on nothing. I know how to do that. I can only imagine the rush that would come from actually knowing what you're targeting, who you're targeting, and have it work.
And that it worked, and you saw that it worked.
Yeah. And you feel it work. And you're like, holy mackerel, like, this is working. I don't even really know what it is like to do something and say, whoa, this is really working the way that I intended it to, because nothing ever does.
Yeah, it's crazy how much Facebook knows about you. I don't remember these exact stats, but there's something that's like, whenever you like 10 posts, Facebook knows more about you than like somebody that's met you for 10 minutes. Once you like 50 posts, they know more about you than somebody that's known you for a year. Mm-hmm. And it's when you like 100 posts, they know more about you than your closest family member. And it's just crazy how much they know about you. So yeah, for lift heavy, run long, you could target people that are interested in running long and lifting heavy. I mean, you can target people like that. And so, so yeah, it's crazy what you can do, but you have to know how to do all that and know that you can do that.
Well, we've certainly found them so far.
Yeah, because there's not just a great deal of people running around saying, I want to do both of those things.
No, not in real life, but on Facebook there is.
And I think part of the problem comes in with what we're doing with the Lift Heavy Run Long is we're just trying to get people active, and so there is that kind of, it comes off as you must do this or that. You must lift this weight or you must run this distance. And it's kind of hard to break through that and let people know, like, it doesn't have anything to do with any of that. This is people who are active and lifting weights and running around and whatever the hell it is that you do that gets your heart pumping. We want you around here. And I think that from a distance, it kind of looks like, that could be sort of an elitist thing, or that would be for people who only lift this much or run this long.
Yeah, and that's the great thing about social media now is you have an opportunity to educate people on what you really are. So, 10 years ago, you had to run a TV commercial. Mm-hmm. You're not going to waste your TV commercial saying, hey, we're not just on about running long and lifting heavy. We're all these other things.
Yeah.
Where like today, you can put out a podcast or you can put out a post that says, congratulations to so-and-so in our private member group that just had her second child or ran her first 5K, and then people can see like, oh, they're like, you don't have to lift 500 pounds to, like, they're just, or like these this is a perfect example, like these podcasts, you put that, when people start listening to that, they're like, oh, okay, they're a lot more than just running along and lifting heavy.
And that stuff is free too. Like, it takes your effort to do it. I remember a lady coming from the movie theater came into the gym one time, like when I first opened my gym, wanted to sell ad space on the movie screen, like before the movie starts, and like she's telling me how much it costs, and I'm just like, I don't even have $800 to give you to play one day. Uh-huh. You are like way out of my league. Like, I don't even know what to tell you. But that stuff is stuff that probably gets more results than the movie theater screen. And it's easier for me to do, and cheaper.
Yeah, I mean, spend $800 on Facebook ads. First of all, in the movie, I don't know the numbers, but I would say 30% of the people are going to care about what they see. 70% of the people, probably more, are going to, like, they don't care about your gym. But on Facebook, you can not only take that $800, but send it to only people that are going to care about your gym, and send it to them over and over and over again.
Right. I don't want to see ads about your stupid gym while I'm shoveling popcorn with extra butter into my pie hole and trying to open my bag of Reese's Pieces. You were talking about that guy on the internet, the absolutes. You know, there's always that guy that like, you don't need to be doing this. You do need to be doing this. Here's what you need to do to click funnel, sales funnel. I got it. You know, and it's like, for one, if you have all the answers to business, then you shouldn't. Why are you selling how to business on internet? Go start a business and make that money. And it used to be, I don't know if this still holds true, but years ago, the two biggest money makers on the internet were porn and how to make money on the internet. None of those people are out there making money doing anything other than taking other people's money to tell them how to make money on the internet. But very few people are actually doing it. You know, the people that know business are doing business, not telling people what they should be doing on Facebook.
Yeah, one thing with those absolutes, man, I mean, the thing that just angers me is just unauthentic marketing. I guess that's a right word. But like in those people that say those absolutes, like, man, you cannot keep up with Facebook. It changes so much. You cannot keep up with it. Like, that's not true. They're just trying to sell you their Facebook marketing services or something. I mean, look, I'll say it would be, if you couldn't keep up with Facebook, I mean, so it would be, that would be great for me because I would get a lot more business. But if you learn Facebook ads once, it just changes. If it doesn't, the changes are so small, you can keep up with it.
Yeah.
And so those people are like, oh, you cannot keep up with it. Now, I'm not saying everybody should learn it. It's like we said, like, some people have better things to do in their business. Yeah. But I'm just saying, like, saying scary things like that, it's just, I just can't stand that.
The fear tactics, mate, just drive me insane.
Yeah, and then the other thing is, like, the loudest person is not right. There's somebody in the fitness space, but I just that I'm thinking of, and I'm definitely not going to say it. But this
Please
person, no, I can't. But this person is just so loud.
Can I tag him?
Yeah, just and when I say loud, you know, just saying just things that grab people's attention. But like, that's all it is. There's a little bit of substance, but it's just all like a show.
If you could tell somebody one thing that they need to do differently, or stop doing or start doing for their fitness business, what would that be?
Okay. Stop is on. So let's just talk about this with Facebook marketing. So to stop doing is making sales posts like, hey, come into our gym, or even, hey, come in for our free trial.
Okay.
For two reasons. I mean, that's just an ad. I mean, what happens when we see an ad? We just keep on going. The other thing is, if you just post that organically, meaning you don't run an ad to it, Facebook's algorithm is not going to show it to hardly anybody, because Facebook wants you to see. Facebook knows that we don't like ads like that, and so they're going to show it to less people. They want that user experience to be good. So I would say stop doing that, and I would say start putting out valuable content. And when I say that, it's just like the video I said earlier. It doesn't have to be a video. It could be a long Facebook post telling somebody how much protein they need to eat to maintain their muscle mass. Or just like, that's what I mean by content. And don't say like, hey man, a tip to get healthy is hire a nutrition coach, and we have a nutrition coach here. Like, I don't mean that. I mean something they can watch and go and do, and then do it consistently.
I've got one more question. We're out of time. I told you I wouldn't keep you more than an hour. How important is it, when you said putting out valuable content, how important is it to put out content at just even at an elementary level, as opposed to thinking that if I'm going to put out content, it has to be something new and different and something that nobody's ever heard of?
Okay, well, it's like we were talking about earlier, that about when you're good at something, when you know a lot, like you think you don't know much. And so most CrossFit gym owners know a ton of stuff that people don't know, but they think everybody already knows that. Like, eat 75% of your body weight in grams of protein. I mean, like most people don't know that. Most people don't know anything about the paleo diet. I mean, I know some people are for or against it, but if you're for it and you think that's really good, nutritious food, just talk to people how to eat clean. I mean, just the basic stuff. It doesn't have to be high level stuff. Drink half your body weight in ounces of water. I mean, that kind of stuff is what really helps people.
Good stuff, man.
Can I say one more thing to
Sure,
stop?
absolutely.
That I thought of?
Yeah.
All right. So stop. Whenever you post on your Facebook page, that's not for your members. Most of the time, like you should have a private member group for that. So if your toilets are broken that day, like don't post that to announce that to your members. You need to have a private Facebook group for that. Or if you're having, hey, open gym time is this today, or like, hey, classes are canceled. Like
That's not for your page.
yes,
It's for your community.
and I just say that because I see like a ton of gyms, like at least half the stuff is like schedule updates and the toilet thing. Or
I like it when people clearly think that they're posting to a private group and they posted it on their regular Facebook page, and it's like, he didn't mean for that to be on.
I had my aunt, she was searching people, or she thought she was searching people on Facebook, but I was scrolling my feed and I kept like seeing like just a name as her status.
Oh no.
And I was at my parents. I was like, Mom, look what so and so's doing. And it was like our family members and stuff. I was like, she thinks she's searching.
There's an old people Facebook on Reddit, on subreddit, and that's all it is people posting stuff like that. Absolutely hilarious.
That's funny. Well, if people are looking for you, where can they find you?
Outofboxmarketing.fit. I'm on Instagram at William Albritton.
They just drop you an email and you'll get back in touch with them?
Yeah, just email me at william@outofboxmarketing.fit. So just remember it's .fit.
All right. Well, we really appreciate your time. It's nice having you on.
All right, thank you. I enjoyed it.
Thank you.
Lift Heavy Run Long number 86 is in the books.